Yes, don't forget to check out Doggy Diamonds No Filter podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All you got to do is go right below. The links are right below in the description box. You ain't got to go far. Just go click. Also, for only $100, I'll promote whatever you need on my social medias. That's my Twitter, Facebook, Insta stories, YouTube community, and my website, www.doggydiamondstv.com. Hit me up on Instagram at Doggy Diamonds for your promo. Serious inquiries only. Also, if you're having a hard time getting the alerts or the content is coming through YouTube and you're not getting it, I have a way that you can make sure the content comes right to your email. Make sure you go to www.theinterviewking.com, sign up for the email list, get all the new content directly. So I go by the name of Doggy Diamonds. You know what I do here. I was going to start with the music and all that, but we're not doing all that today. We got a special guest. Brooklyn is in the building. Matter of fact, I'll let him introduce himself. I'll be quiet. Go ahead. Who are you?
Nah, what's up? Y'all know the voice, Antonio Fernandez, known as King Tone, East New York finest. We outside. We
Got
here.
you.
We coming and we talking with the young brother,
Yeah.
Share some stories, some insight, see what's going on, man. Just thank you for having me. You know what's up.
Yeah, so when I spoke to you behind the scenes, I told you I was familiar with you via a documentary about your life that was on HBO a long time ago, and I felt like I got to know you. You was once the universal leader of the New York chapter of the Almighty Latin King and Queen Nation. Am I right?
Yeah, for a time there, I was holding, had the privilege to lead and help our young adults in the Almighty Latin King and Queen Nation, New York State Line tribe, to find a political view and a different voice, right, amongst the power groups.
Got you. So I seen you there. You got a lot of power. What does that do to you, good and bad?
Well, I think because you dealt in the music industry. There's different kind of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the power like of fan power. So you see dudes who got a lot of fans, they get that kind of power that like the Kanyes and them, if they say something, they could destroy, make a market, they can move the meter needle, right? That's one type of power. Then you got money power, right? You got the dudes who pay for power. And that power, you got that kind of power. Then there's our power, my power, where I say grassroots leadership power that I say is from the dirt, right? From the grind.
Mm-hmm.
You come through it. The Jay-Z type of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those, a lot of us that made it out the grind, came to a level, paid the price, then come out as a diamond. So my power was that. My power was love over fear.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was going to college, my thesis was fear could never dominate love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fear of a gangster could never win the love for a gangster. So which one are we looking for? So that was, since I was dealing with the nation and I had the power to influence, I decided to use it in a different manner. So it was a phenomenon for a lot of people. But fuck that. That shit is sexy, right?
Yeah,
a motherfucker could kill a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But when a motherfucker save a motherfucker, you be like, damn, that's something different. That's a different kind of power.
Got you.
So once I felt that power, it was different for me. I had an obligation to what I inherited to be a good power. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you also was taking the nation in a political route. A lot of, seemed like what the Panthers was doing, just a lot of community grassroots stuff, as you said, away from the stigma of the gang. What did you get opposition from some of the people that was so used to being gangsters? They didn't know what it was like to face. Was they like, well, what the hell are you doing? You got us going soft. Did you get opposition?
Yeah, it's I refer to the music because I know a lot of your artists. I grew up on music, right? Like I told you, I rode on trains. I rock dance, because Latino was a different part, not only part of the rap, of the creation of rap. We were mixed in the stew of the graffiti, the dancing, the bringing it out, right? So it's a lot of time the story. And I'm not getting it's told one way. So what I'm saying, I'm a part of that history. You get what I'm saying? And in that, coming in and finding my voice in the Latin Kings and then being a rock dancer, being Space Out Crew, being part of Historical View, and seeing it lose, that empire lose its identity, I really thought that it was time for us people that were part of that era, that lost ourselves to drug addiction, to violent crime, to those things. It was time for us to come back home and tell the true story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell the true story by being examples, incredible messengers to the young adults. You misconstrue the whole existence of why we were created. The gang wasn't meant to hunt his own, kill his own. It was meant to protect our communities, our grandmothers, our cousins, our kids from being denied the right to walk through the front door, being the right to vote, being the right. And that shit, when the oppressor attacks you and he beats you bad and he kills your heroes, like the Lolita Lebrons, they lock them up, the Martin Luther Kings, the Black Panthers, like you said, when they kill them and they show you what they do to your heroes, fuck, of course you're gonna rap about trap music. Yeah. Your ass is too scared to rap about anything else. What are you talking about?
So you say fear. Right, so you feel like fear of the powers that be created trap music.
And like a rapper, right? He's got the fear of the rapper he was with his little box and his tape in his bedroom, to the one they dress him and put the makeup on and put on stage.
Yeah, got you. Makes a lot of sense.
The fear that they know better for him and his music and his creation, because they're gonna make him what sells, not what he really, the words he wanted to say out of his heart when he first started. So like with a man and us as in power groups, the fear was against the cops.
Yes.
The fear was against not being able to stand in front of a white man and look him in the eye and tell him I got rights. So we united. And when they killed our heroes, we burned everything. We got mad. But what we didn't do, we didn't get smart. We just stood mad and angry. And then instead of fighting the oppressor, it was easier to become capitalistic pigs and fight for the block we don't own, so we could fake like we fighting.
So what was your political ideology? Who did you study under? Because you have people...
Well, I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm a nationalist.
Okay.
I stand along my nationalist brothers, Freedom for Puerto Rico, one of the colonies. I stand with Lolita. I stand with Rafael Manan. I stand with the oldest of the oldest. I stand with the Young Lords. I stand with Momia. I stand with the Young Lords. I stand with the Crips, the Bloods. I stand with any power group with any identity that fights for the right against America's oppression, that capitalistic point of views overrule people's freedoms and right to speak truth to power.
Gotcha.
So that's how I've always ran the Kings. That's how I grow up, grow out. That's how I speak to my political views. So, you know, it's like my God, right? When God tells me to kill a Muslim so I could be a good Christian, I'm going to hang up my guns and I'm going to tell God, why don't you do it first?
So when I watch you in the documentary, you end up going back to prison. And drugs, how has it negatively affect you personally?
Fuck, drugs been part of my whole life, right? I dropped out in 3rd grade.
The what?
I wasn't fucking with the white man.
You dropped out of school in what?
Third grade. I was 9 years old.
Okay, continue.
9 years old, I hit the block. My father was a bread man. My mother's a 2nd generation Puerto Rican, never been to jail. 4 sisters, all righteous, Pentecostal, knocked down chairs, holy water, all that shit in the house. And I said, fuck that. I ain't a slave to nobody, right? The mind was fucked up. Teacher was racist, couldn't learn the language. I was slower than the rest. So I knew that I had somebody on the corner. And in that day, the guy on the corner wasn't like the guy at the corner today. They did what they did, but they also fed the community. They made sure there were sugars in houses. They made sure we had sneakers. They made sure the shit that hit the block didn't hit the house, right? Because we have morals. We have values. So what I'm trying to say, you know, I couldn't learn the American language like others and write and read. I went that route. And I started pushing money and paper and moving shit right on my block between Dosha and motherfucking Chestnut, Pinkin Avenue, 2 blocks from Euclid, 3 blocks from Cypress Hills, fucking half a mile from Pink Houses. Motherfucker, check it out. I'm talking about Pinkin and Pine. I'm not faking. I'm East New York.
Got you.
So what I'm saying, that area was tough. It was poor. We were starving, son.
Is that the time where it was just nothing but vacant lots and tires everywhere and stray dogs?
Shit, it looked like Vietnam was in East New York. Like they dropped a bomb, right?
Yeah.
And then all we had, right? Remember, all we had was music and unity, because at that time we could play dominoes in the street. Fathers could drink Budweiser on the garbage can. We could police our own community. We could watch our own kids. They destroyed that. So my point is, I was always angry because I was missing something. I didn't recognize and understand what was a Puerto Rican. Nobody really told me how the fuck I ended up in East New York and why the fuck I love this flag and where the fuck is Puerto Rico.
Got you.
So, right, you get mad because you love it. You don't know about it. You know the black point of view. You know the white point of view, but you don't hear you in there. And that's when Zulu Nation took off, because they talked to that universal language in Africa, and Latinos are part of this, and then the identity. But what I'm saying, we had to reinvent ourselves after they killed our heroes in our rights in the first struggle against the oppression of this oppressor called America, right? Voting rights, the right to live, the right to get everything equal. Then they kill our heroes. We don't get a roadmap. We become gangs because we're angry and we want to fight back, but nobody left us a roadmap. Music comes along. Dancing comes along. We got a voice in music, and it was unique, and we could tell the fucking world what was going on in our streets. And we took that and we let the capitalistic pigs turn it into motherfucking trap music. So my point is, I didn't want to do it no more, and I thought the drugs was my way out. And then when you sell drugs and you destroy and you sell to the people you love, you sell to the community you profess to protect with the values of good parents, I got so destroyed that I started using never get high on your own supply. So I had to quench that thirst of guilt by using cocaine, getting in the game, and there was you go. A young man thought he knew the streets, knew at 16, 15, from 9 years old to 15, making big money, more than a lot of motherfuckers see today. And then I wanted to punish myself, so I got high.
What was your drug of choice, if you don't mind me asking?
Cocaine. I hate dope. I ain't a dopey. I don't like to be down. I'm about, let's go. Let's get it fast. Let's put on some Mobb Deep and let's go get these motherfuckers.
Did you ever graduate to crack at a point?
Oh, yeah. So what happens, right, that time it was bass.
Yeah.
So when you were balling, the ballers who already knew about the dope fiends, we thought it was cool to do hoolies and smoke bass. Little did we know that was the beginning of the destruction of our whole empire.
Yes.
Right? Because the Wyvern knew that was the second chemical warfare, transferring us from going from the dope to a new drug that was for the rich man, cocaine, and then the poor man, crack, right? But it was bass first.
Yes.
It was doing a slow transition to the streets. So I was during the bass war, you know what I mean? So you thought you were a baller, but then you felt that high, and that shit was new. That was like, you need another blast in 3 seconds. So now you're slinging your dope, and you getting it, and you're converting it to go get you what you know you're going to smoke. 1/2 ounce, 2 ounces tonight. You get my point?
Damn.
So before you knew it.
So tell him, let me ask you, being the king, wasn't that in your lessons not to get high?
No, but I wasn't a king yet.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So in that instant right there, when I smoked and I found myself, why am I doing this? That's when New Jack City really came. And really, a lot of people want to know. It was when the heroin kingpins and the cocaine kingpins fell to the epidemic of crack, and the New Jack era took the whole system over.
Got you.
So in that, I was in the middle of the falling, right? Of falling, getting addicted. That bass turns to crack. Crack turns to stick-ups. Stick-up turns to shit. I fall in Rikers Island in 97, right? I mean, 87. In 87, I fall in Rikers Island. I see the brothers. I see the brothers operating. I see about the Kings. I see how they're family. I'm 90 pounds wet, starting bullshit, fighting for the phone because nobody loved me no more. I was about just, you know how it is, just trying to fake up in there, cause trouble. And I remember an old school named Mafia in C95 on the south side, if anybody know what I'm talking about. In Rockers Island, little Puerto Rico, he come and he pulled me up. He says, yo, son, come to the table. He says, yo, you're real about shit, but you're real stupid, man. You don't know your identity, and you pissing me off. You're going to start a racial war, and you're going to sit your ass down, you're going to learn. And that was the first time a man told me in a certain way, stupidity and ignorance is not an excuse, except that you're really fighting with no one because you ain't angry at nobody but yourself. And it's time that a good brother, Latino, teach you who you are so you could stop looking so ignorant. So after that, he put me in a cell with two dudes, and every day I had to learn 3 pages and memorize 3 pages. I had to read a book and tell him what I learned in the book. Check this out. What teachers and nobody could do for me, my brothers in the nation did. So right there was the first time I promised to the almighty Latin Queen and Queen Nation that I'll never get high again on that shit. And since 1987, I never got high again.
So in this time when I watched you in the documentary, you got caught selling to an undercover, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, so the truth of the story is, right, so the people could get the niche of it. I started when I come after becoming a king. I come home in 92. 92, we start a movement with the Young Lords ex-parties, Richie Perez, with the Workers' World Union and 33 Mothers Against Police Brutality, the Miss Bias case from the Bronx, where her son was choked by Officer Lavoti, and the Rosarios, where their 3 sons were shot in the back while they were handcuffed. So long story short, so people understand, when the mothers came to me and told me that nobody's helping us, nobody helps us in rallies, we hear you about that shit. We want to see you. Could you help us? And I united myself with that movement. It was called the No Justice, No Peace movement against Giuliani and the 33 police officers that killed 32 kids in our community. So when I locked arms with them, the shit started getting ugly. So I did the move. I did my right move. What I didn't understand, that I was making political enemies and challenging Giuliani and them, as I was looking real small on TV and being the front man and bringing this army to a fort against Giuliani. Of course, the feds and them was moving against me. And I thought I was, sometimes you think you boxing with a heavyweight dude and you could handle him. But in round 13, he got more weight. They got more money. So surely they surrounded me and they what we call COINTEL. All my resources got cut off. And I'm going to say the truth. So when I couldn't feed my own family and I had all this power, and I'm talking about movement, and I owed 3 months rent and I couldn't get shit right, but I knew I couldn't get involved in the game, I said, what the fuck I do? And then that's the first step of a man's destruction, is his pride. I didn't ask for help.
Pride before the fall.
I didn't ask for help because I was King Tone. I said, how the fuck is Sound me asking somebody for help? Right? When I got these soldiers to bring money from a bank, God damn it. But I wasn't that evil leader. So true story is, I talked to a dude and I say, hey, use my place and help me here so I could get this bill and we be good. 5 years later, he got caught doing something. He told on me about that city, and he set up what y'all seen on the documentary was the after effect of he already making a deal to get me to that place in time. I already did something, but what they had me was just to get me there, and put the cap on him inviting me somewhere and they already being there. So that's what happened, in the true story of why everybody thought it was that I was in the day that I was part of a drug empire. No, I made a bad decision once to get out, and they held it for 5 years, and I went and I took my obligation. I said, that shit is mine. I said, none of that shit had nothing to do with the nation. let's get ours done. And I took 13 and a half years for being a lookout to a drug set. I did 3 years with no human contact, 24-hour lockdown. I've been to 13 different fucking penitentiaries in the United States of America. Motherfuckers talk gangster shit. Come live in my shoes 3 days, motherfuckers. And a lot of us suffer that for having that resume. And Pistol Pete, me, Magoo, all these big names, Boy George, motherfucker, Gotti. I've been with all of them. The Emmys, all of them across the country. My black book is evil.
So at this,
and we all had the same fucking answer when we were in there as leaders.
So at this particular time, you going through, so you went in from what was the year the documentary? What was that
I
year?
went in 1998 to do 13 and a half. I came home 2009. I did the sentence I told you, 2009, I come home. I land in Virginia. I go in Virginia, I start a new life, and I open a program. 2009, I was killing animals. I was cleaning shit, and I saved money. In 2015, I opened Grow Up, Grow Out, which is my company. And my company is a company that takes ex-felons, trains them, gives them boot camp, gives them a year follow-up, gives them to learn to take government money and start lighthouses in the same community they used to hurt. And then we get the resources for mental health, behavior health, restorative justice, and we start healing and taking the money from the fucking Justice Department, telling them, get our kids out of jail and give them back to us. And we teach the church to become a church. We teach fathers to become fathers, and we empower ourselves to enable to gain history and historically take the value of raising our kids and bringing out a product that's strong, that's respectful, and understands how to stand its ground for its people, right? For its community. So that's why in that transformation of going to the feds, learning and doing this time, hearing these gangsters, I did a study, I wrote my program, came home in 2009 in Virginia, practiced it, and today I sit in front of you, an owner of a company that hires 32 people, has 16 contractors across the country. I got keys to 2 youth facilities that I opened the cells. And God and the Almighty has been very powerful through understanding that what I did and how I came up doesn't give me the excuse to remain ignorant and keep doing damage to people who are innocent from the things I suffered. So if I'm a true king, if I'm a true Crip, if I'm a true blood, the best thing we could do as OGs is tell them the truth about what we suffer in jail, tell them the truth about the wrongs we did, and tell them the truth about what is power. That power that you could hold, that you could hold with pride, and you could stand up and you could stand for the rights of your community, not self-destruction. So, it's a long road to do that. And the way I got through it was with music, with relearning and reteaching myself. I understood I could hate the people that teach me. I could hate the places they teach me, but I could never hate learning. So I started to teach myself. I could learn in the shoe. I could learn under a bed. I could learn why they're torturing me. I could still learn. There's no objective that could stop me from learning. And that's when I started, getting that courage to reteach myself from the kid in 3rd grade to try to grow up and get to the level I needed to. When I go home, I could become a man.
So let me ask you something. When you went in 98, was you still the leader of the Kings, New York?
Fuck. Shit. Once a leader, always a leader. I'm going to lead. I lead Grow Up, Grow Out. I lead Credible Messages. And if the Latin Kings don't know where the fuck they going, I'll lead you to the light too. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying, when I went in, so this is the objective. With the program I run, I deal with youth. When I go to the court, they call me King Toe.
Gotcha.
When I'm in the jail, opening the cells, and I'm working with the staff, they call me King Tone. When I left and I got caught, I've never denounced the crown, because the crown isn't what knocked me down. It's what picked me up. The crown and the leaders in the nation never made me do anything I wanted to do. I was the motherfucker doing it anyway. So what I wanted to do, honestly, And what I do today, I don't denounce. I teach. You can't save a gang member who's in trouble, who starts telling, or any of those issues above by pulling out. It creates more damage. So if you teach a kid that's already involved in a power group, what you teach them is how to grow up out of it. Because if you pull him out, you got to move him. His gang hates him. But if you show him, like every gang, and you know us, we see you growing up, and you start telling the leader, look, I'm on probation, or I'm in school. He's going to start messing with the dummies that ain't doing nothing. He starts letting you go do your life, right? But you got to show the progress and have the courage to tell him, yo, nigga, I'm growing up, man. Do you really want me to start debating the bullshit you have me doing? You get what I'm saying? I know my lessons now. I know the truth about why I exist. You can't make me do stupid shit no more. I know better than that. You get my point?
Yeah. So
now he can grow
the reason
up.
why I'm asking you this is because when you in 1998, this is these are the years, the height of the Bloods and the Kings beefing. So did you go in with a new war in jail that wasn't on the street?
So I think the real height of the war was in 1995 to 98. In 1995, I went to the Beacon on a gun charge. I stood a year doing the island. So in 1994, 1993, they started it with Deadeye and them in the Fall building with some of my other leaders. And we was good. And the shit breaks out over some stupidity. So that the war does happen. So when I went in 1995, me, Trini, and the Bloods did what was called in the Beacon, in the yard, historical time. We did what was called the respect line. And that's when the Five Alive existed between the Bloods and us, where we made a new rule. And a lot of brothers were mad at me, and a lot of brothers was mad at them. But what we found was that there was a lot of cowards in the midst of both of our groups, and they knew if they could bark, we will all cut each other before we found out that his dumb ass was the one who started it. Get it? So what we did in 95 in the Beacon and started spreading out with the nation, with my brothers and the Bloods was it's over. Respect line, we respect you, Magoo, the all teardrops, myself. We changed and I came home 95, 96 after I did that. And then we practiced it in the street. And that's when the war between the Kings and the Blood was put to a cease.
So Magoo was once with you?
Magoo was in the fucking Beacon on the chase with me. And I'm chasing him. He was a brother. This is real. This is real story.
That's crazy.
He was in the shoe in there. They brought him from the Beacon. And he come through. Magoo, good guy. We in the feds, and now he's doing well. I'm not trying to start something, but I'm saying it was at the height of the war. That was in 95. By 98, we already had called, because I come out, I meet with, like I said, their leaders in the Beacon. I was running the trash. I was going to the sales side. We were sending the messages. We drew the line.
So when he becomes an alleged Blood, what do you think?
What?
When he becomes an alleged Blood, what through your mind?
What with him? Shit, he had a reason when I heard the story. Fuck, shit. Sometimes you got a reason that you do shit right.
So okay.
But what I'm trying to show you, see how I am, right? Of course it was a bug out, right? So with the first thing you ask somebody like him, that's a real man, that's not a chump, that's putting in work now. He putting in work on me, and I'm a leader. I got to get to him. So, but when you hear the story, and I'm not gonna put it. You go like, right, any man, you go, oh shit, I could understand now. Get it? Shit, that's fucked up where they put you and the choice they made you do. And now that's what you do. I respect it, right? But it don't lessen the beef, right?
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah. So
amen to that.
But Tone,
but what I'm saying, we were men enough from in there, like I said, because he was a powerhouse in it. They heard what I was talking. The offer I made, coming from my superior, the one and only Luis Felipe, may he be resting and sitting there after 38 years alone in a cell. He's been 38 years alone in ADX. He told me, Tone, you do the right thing, man. And I said, we need to end this stupidity. And so to show you, I've been doing this shit forever. And that's how nobody like to talk the shit. But I was man enough. Any coward to start a war, it take a fucking real leader to step in the front line and end it.
So because now we see it's an over glorification of prison talk on YouTube. I did this, I cut him. What do you think about a lot of that?
So if you ever seen the Flip, shout out to Flip, and I did their show. I also did the Vlad.
Mm-hmm.
What drew me out of because I didn't do no shows. If you look at it, I came out with the Vlad, then I hit Flip because I was on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has seen me really out on the media no more.
Mm-hmm.
So what drew me out was that they were sitting clowns on couches.
Mm.
There's 250 fucking shows talking about the blood beef, our beef, who we cut, how we cut. 1,000 viewers listen to Rikers Island stories, why we did and who did. I get offended because, for one, a motherfucker get on them shows, the host, get mad at snitches, and it shows about what we did in Rikers Island.
So
what
you are
talking about?
Yeah, fact.
That's one, right? So let's knock that out, right?
Got you.
So that's the first thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And what you find, if you find historically, it like those shows that talk about the shooters on YouTube. I'm just trying to teach our audience, the music audience. You got a voice, a white voice, reading the indictment,
Mm-hmm.
and they just show like gangland pictures, and you give them 2 million views. So a white guy reading an indictment that's Freedom Information Act on a camera without even his face on YouTube, he making millions of dollars because you like hearing stories about who's the hottest shooter in Chicago this week
Mm-hmm.
through that voice, right? But me on a serious tone, that's bringing in guys who come from the pen, who these motherfuckers rap about, who half of these motherfuckers won't sit in the bed with, won't talk to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't listen to us. Why? Because we ain't saying that stupid shit no more, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not spreading that official package gangster, OG, fake blood, fake Crip shit. If you really about something, it's got to do something. It's got to manufacture something, and it's got to really protect somebody besides yourself and personal gain. So, and what you're saying is right. So I'm looking now, right? And I come home and I'm in the pen and you meet, there's another thing I want to teach New Yorkers and Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just being honest. We do state bids, and we used to, if you never go travel and you one of them dudes that drives your Benz after you make $1 million only around your block, you don't go on vacation and you don't travel to other states, when they give your dumbass that fed bid and you go talking that New York shit, let me just let you know something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fucking gangster in every fucking state. There's a ghetto in every state. There's a gang and a King Tone in every state.
Mm-hmm.
All that shit erases. You in the equal playing field, fool.
Especially us Brooklyn dudes, you know us. We go everywhere. We like, yo, I don't give a fuck. I'm
New
from
York
Brooklyn.
in total.
But you know us from Brooklyn. We be like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn. I don't give a fuck.
Now, don't get me twisted.
Mm-hmm.
We in the feds, we rep as New Yorkers. But everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a different feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
When now you find out that there's white gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
That there's Oye gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
That there's fucking Trinidad gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
So now you get my point. It opens your eyes that you thought you were so big on your block and you a dime a dozen in the feds.
Yeah.
They buy your ass every week, right? They indict niggas like you every week.
Mm-hmm.
So in my pretense, what I'm trying to teach is that, right? Longevity and violence in trap music doesn't last long. Because if you rapping what you live about and you living about that real life, I'll see you in jail, son, or dead.
You know what my grandmother used to tell me? They'll make room for you. And I was like, what are you talking about? She said, there's two places they're always making room for you, no matter how crowded it is. The morgue and prison.
Your grandmother wasn't lying, because you know what? We gangsters, and I used to see in the shoe, right, 2 bunks, a 6x12, them stuffed 9 men in there.
Wow.
Sleep for three months.
And that means y'all got to shit around each other.
Your head is under the toilet. One of you niggas is under the toilet. 2 of you and then you want your own people in there. So what I'm saying is, listen to me, young adults. Listen to me, you dudes with these guns and out there. I'm not saying you faking. But when you go to the feds, if someone is calling you, if someone tells you every day from prison and talking all that good shit, just listen to me. He's listening to the fucking rules in jail.
Mm.
The ones you don't that talk that shit and really living that shit, they don't get to call you. We don't get phone calls. We stay in the shoe.
So what you're saying is, if somebody gets to call you every day, they're a good person in there. The individuals who don't call you, they're in there fucking shit up. Got you. So go ahead.
So I'm just trying to really act. I'm not saying they're punks, but the dudes who don't want to, that don't let the CEO tell them, I'm gonna mop the floor.
Cuff up.
I'm gonna go to the
cuff
work.
up. Like, yeah. Because I know some people who just they ain't cuffing up regardless, just for no reason. They fight every time.
Because like me, I like the shoe because I like to be alone.
Mm.
Because I'm King Tone, I'd rather live alone than amongst fools.
Mm.
So if you like the title, you gotta like the lifestyle, right?
Yes.
So what I'm just saying, so you send me to the shoe, I'm in my house. You get it? That's how I operate. But other dudes, that's their scary point, right? So jail threatens them with jail, and they change.
So let me ask you something, Tone. When we see today, 2023, 2022, are you familiar with the Young Thug case or what's going on in any way?
Young Thug?
Yes. Well, RICO cases, right? Now we're seeing RICO where it was made for the mob, a way to take the underboss, the underling, the lowest person and say, you did the crime, but you did it on behalf of him. So although you did the murder, I get to charge him for the same murder. That's where RICO started from. So a lot of people don't know that, right? So now we have RICO cases against rappers where they had allegedly guys in the street doing this, that, and the third, and they saying, you did that on behalf of the gang. He's the leader of the gang. So we're locking up 29 of y'all, and y'all all get the same charges. So now Young Thug, a lot of people flipped on him. They took deals. One guy took 30 years probation. 30 years probation.
I think I'm familiar. What state is Young Thug from?
Georgia. He's in Atlanta. Georgia. So now with this RICO, we seen it with the mob. Like I said, it started for the mob because they didn't have a way to get the bosses. So, go ahead. What is RICO? What does RICO mean to you?
So RICO, so I could teach on it because you could go. This is public information. Operation Crown was the first and is still the most arrested gang raid in New York State history. It was 130 of us, Latin Kings, 5:30 in the morning. They had 3 forces united to come after us. I'm not doing this to brag. They got Fort Hamilton and the army to have that to receive us. They had the state, of course, the feds all together, and they came and got 130 of us around the New York State at the same time, me first.
Wow.
They brought us in. RICO is when you, as an organization, they used to be like he said, RICO was made for the mafia to bring them down where they could use tax evasion, not paying taxes for the extortion. That's a crime. They could take then murder. That's crime number 2.
Laundering, money laundering.
Laundering and that's number 1. Murder number 2. Then racketeering, right? So they take 3 felonies. They need 3 felonies. And in a RICO, they use it to say this is organized because a leader is influencing and using power under a structure, organized structure, to make you do things in 3 fields that profit you as an organization. So now when the mafia and Giuliani finished bringing down the mob,
which he did,
to the point where now it's sustainable, it really doesn't have the power it used to, they moved on to what's called the gangs of New York. So the RICO and the gang of New York, it started with Boy George. It started with paid for all those old first dope dealers got the first RICO charges from the feds trying on street crime. So now what happens? Let me tell you kids what RICO means. Now 3 of you stupid motherfuckers don't in the King's Bloods or whatever. I say we stupid. We're doing all 3 of these crimes, but we ain't never been organized. We ain't never really doing it. We profiting on buying houses or become like the mob really did, right? It's a self-sustaining ecosystem. But because you're doing these three things, you're doing it together, you live in the same place, and you fly in the same rag, RICO is now for the gangs, for the low poverty gangs. So now if you're Blood, Crip, King, or any of the power groups, you are going to get a RICO charge, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Then the RICO charge, while you see the 6ix9ines, you see people be so quick to tell, it starts with 20 years to cop out.
20 years on the cop out.
Anybody who get less, you got to see their paperwork.
All right, so because I want to go there. So in this YSL situation, they got Young Thug as the leader. He's saying YSL, which they're saying it's a gang. The feds are saying it's a gang. He's saying it's a record label. We're not a gang, we're a record label. But his number 2 man, in his plea deal, he admitted in the open court, no, it's a gang. What did he just do to Young Thug?
It's kind of so it's kind of like what T.I. did to his cousin who was dead. He told on his dead cousin, right?
So it's go ahead.
So I'm just making an example.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
His cousin's in heaven,
mm-hmm.
chilling out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Got all the angels singing with him. Uh-huh. T.I. cousin was chilling.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he heard his name on the loudspeaker from God. Yo! So he like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Come over to the God's office, and he came in and they said, he goes, what's up? T.I. just fucked up. He said, hey, you did this. You can't be in heaven no more. You going to hell.
Damn.
You've been discovered. Right? So my point is, when someone tells something, it's because he's one, getting a personal gain from himself from the justice system, automatically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2, when you tell something, for whatever reasons, there's people who told on people, and you listen to them, and you could have so much sympathy for them, because I've been there, I've been in pens with 1,500 motherfuckers. There's not a story I didn't hear from niggas who told, right? So when you tell, right, you have sympathy for some of these stupid motherfuckers, because you go, and then at the end you go, but you didn't have to tell, right? A dude that did as dumb as he did it all as stupid, and wants just as much as empathy for his stupidity and his crime, but he didn't tell on another man, so his time could be less, right? Because now he feels he don't have to do it. So with that, I'm saying RICO brings out the truth of why you were part of the crime. Either you were influenced, you wanted to make him believe and use the gangsters for your benefit, or you got lost believing your own fake ass story that you a gangster, and then when the heat comes, you can't hold the heat. So what's sad about it, when I start telling, I don't care what the feds say, and they say they put in a machine on these motherfuckers, he could start telling lies, and if the feds like the lies become the truth.
So they don't even necessarily have to tell the truth. They could just lie on you and implicate you.
Oh, fucking sure. A snitch is a liar.
Yeah, true.
That's why they opened in the trial, he's a fucking liar. He assisted with the crime. But who better to tell you who Slim Thug is but his cousin? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Tell him, cousin. Tell him what you know, right?
Yeah,
That's what they do.
Got you.
And the jury, black and Latinos, let me end this with, I want to educate because it's so important, right? You get 12 white jurors, and you get a white kid that walked into a crowd and shoot 2 black men and said it's because I went there to help, and he gets away with it because 12 white people will have empathy for the craziest of a white criminal. You put a 12-year-old who don't know his ass from his brain in front of 6 white and 6 Latinos, and they will take that little black boy and send them to eternity to fucking 2,400 years for the white man, because they believe We got to punish our own. We got to teach that we are down with these harsh, draconian sentences, that we are citizens of America, right? No, think about the jury's mind, the difference from the juries. And they don't express this in courtrooms. They don't teach our community. There's more than the crime. There's a story. And kids in New York have a different life from kids in these white communities, white jurors. There's a whole historical history of why we are where we are, but it's still not an excuse for us to stay where we are. And that's what I'm saying as King Tone, as a Latin king, as a father, as a grandfather. There's no excuse for me to remain where someone puts me or left me when I was at my worst. God gave me the strength, the brain to take trauma and to take rubble and make a brick and to build a fucking house.
So let me ask you something. Right now, 2023, you have an organization. Tell us about the organization.
So the organization is Grow Up, Grow Out, Incredible Messengers Movement, where we come and we take brothers in each community in different states. We train people like King Tone and other leaders of these power groups. We take women and we make them credible messengers, what just means they become like a street social worker. And then we empower that the Justice Department, give them money as the owners of these organizations. They get to hire 10 employees in their neighborhood, get an office, and they start doing street work, not with a bright jacket, stopping who's doing the crime. We find out what is wrong. Then we give the mother credible messenger. Then we give the grandma. So what we do, we empower our community to be the justice system itself. And when our kids fall, that we be the protector, but also the leader in making them understand there's a consequence to this, right? But we're not going to let no one abuse you during the process. We are on the forefront of making sure that we train the guys who are coming out of jail. You cannot continue to be ignorant and the problem. You got to come home changed and educated so we could stop this curse and this pipeline from school and from the 5 boroughs that support the prisons upstate. And the only way, my brother, we could do that is if us gangbangers get smarter and stop being gangbangers and become political movements and become guardians to our community. And the way you do that is to go into people like us who teach you how to get empowered, how to use tools, how to clean up, and use that knowledge you gained in jail and use it for the better in our communities. So that's what Grow Up, Grow Out does. And if you like to send me an email, I'm at afernandez@growupgrowout.org. And you'll see that that's what we do.
What's the website? What's the website?
States.
What's the website?
Huh?
What's the website?
Brother, I can't recall my website.
Yeah. Well, if it's all right, so if it's A Fernandez,
that would be over there.
No, I'm gonna tell you. No, I'm gonna tell you.
Huh?
If it's A Fernandez at growup.org, then it's growup.growout.org. That's the website.
Yes.
That's the website. Do you remember? Do you remember your Instagram at least?
Yeah, my Instagram. Well, all of it is closed. Tone Mass Media Empire and Serious Tone got shut down. The studio shut down. That's why you see me here. Because like yourself, I want to explain. I was so busy doing it fast and doing my other job that I really didn't do it proper. I like to put good product out. So I'm going to build my media, my Instagram, my Facebook, and do it in the way of fans and do it the proper way. And so please, folks, you'll see me. As soon as you see me back out there, you get the word out. You'll see my Facebook.
You'll let me know. You'll let me know, and I'll let y'all know.
Instagram.
You'll let me know, and I'll let everybody know.
That's a bet. Because you'll see it. My Life Tone was my Instagram, right? My Life Tone was my Instagram and A Fernandez, but it's closed now. But be sure when I go, I'm going to give it to my brother, and it'll be out there. And I'll start, doing like my brothers out there, putting the good news of transformation and how we've come along from the roots of Brooklyn, where one thing, let me say thank you that you're not doing that stupid shit where this show is about. I used to cut, I used to fight.
No, we got knowledge itself. So one of the things that I'm big with my audience is that I'm a reformed knucklehead too. I'm from Brooklyn, so it was rough growing up. So you probably got me by some years, but I'm a 90s Brooklyn kid. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it was rough as hell from 1990 to 2000. Rather,
You
like,
in Knickerbocker?
no, I'm downtown Brooklyn. I'm Bed-Stuy.
Best-Stuy.
Yeah.
Woo,
I grew
woo.
up, me and Biggie from the same neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So,
but I know Best-Stuy.
and I
Woo,
grew
woo.
up and I grew up across the street, directly from across the street, like directly across the street was a methadone
Well, I
center.
wanted the people to know this too. Being Latino in Best-Stuy ain't easy because it's a different community. Like that's
You
loaded
good
and
in
hot.
Bushwick. You good in Bushwick. You good in
Yeah, you
Bushwick. You
know the
good.
deal.
Yeah,
But
and
when you
and
go to
East New York
Best-Stuy, you
on the
deal with
other
the
side.
Haitians, the black.
Yeah.
You know Latinos, the more less community.
Yes.
So I know that you know as a Latino, you have to be out there repping.
Yeah. So you was good in Bushwick. You was good in Park Slope. You was good in like Sunset Park. But Bed-Stuy, where I'm from, and all that, you Puerto Rican, we loved
East
y'all.
New York, even
Yeah. No.
East New
Yeah.
York,
Yeah.
you had to be about
Yeah.
yours if you were
No,
Latino. You know what I mean?
we loved y'all, but you did stick out. You know what I'm saying? We loved y'all. You did stick out. So Tone,
Look at the hat. Look at the hat.
yeah,
East
yeah,
New
yeah,
York.
yeah,
You
yeah,
already
yeah.
know.
Tone, it's so much we could talk about, so much that we got to talk about. I want to bring you back and do a part 2 and just give them some more education. I think we gave them enough today. We don't want to overkill them and overfeed them. You got my number, I got your number, man. Let's come back and do this often until you launch your social medias back up, and then they could go straight to you for the stories and everything. But I
And
appreciate
you
you,
could
man.
chop it up, do what you do. I know I
Yeah.
talk a lot, but I just want the
No, I
audience
love it.
to
I
know,
love it. I
man.
love it.
Y'all important, man. You important, man. The future's important, and we need y'all. And all I wish is that the Trinitarios, the Kings, the Bloods, the Crips, and listen, there's a dude who got scars from each of everything, man. That if we could just get together, man, you don't know the power we withhold. If we just transform thinking into positive thinking,
Let's show them
we could
this.
run everything.
The Kings, Trinitarios, MS-13, Bloods, Crips. When you do this, that forms a fist.
Whoa, so we ended with that, you see? And that's what we're trying to do, man.
Yep.
Let's get it together, brother.
King Tone,
Yo,
I
it's a
appreciate
pleasure.
you.
Thank
Yes.
you for having me.
Appreciate you.
And your audience, sorry you didn't hear music, but he'll
Nah,
bring back the
no,
music.
they love that real talk. They love that real talk too. So Tone, I'm gonna sign you out. I'll hit you up later on.
You already know.
Peace. All right, y'all, man. So that was King Tone. Been through hell and back and still here to tell us about it and educate us, man. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my homie Goya for hooking us up. I appreciate my audience. I love my audience. You already know what I do here. If you could get these shares, it's very, very important to share this video. Maybe one of your little homies, maybe one of your big homies, maybe somebody could learn from this video. And I appreciate y'all for rocking with me the way y'all do. I'm Doggie Diamonds. Until next time, peace.